I would like to have more conversations with people. I don't think I'm a good storyteller. So I did a bunch of research and figured out 15 different ways to become a better storyteller. So I want to start with reason number 1, and that is, why are you telling the story? 3 main reasons. Number 1 is you can inform or persuade someone to do something. Number 2 is to entertain. And number 3 is to share something. So you need to figure out, why are you telling the story? Is it 1, 2, or 3? Because all 3 have completely different ways to structure the story and tell it to make it interesting. If you do not like some company, you start with the negatives, and you keep talking about them from the side. If you're there to entertain, you might just start telling jokes from the beginning. You might also have like a big, oh wow, that's crazy, damn moment at the end. If you're just sharing, then it's a lot more relaxed and you're just telling the story as it happened. Number 2, highlight emotions. Think of telling a story as an art form. You're there trying to connect with people, become friends, and just like any other art form, you're there to share an emotion. If you don't like some company really badly, then you're sharing negativity. If instead you wanted to make someone laugh, you're sharing something that will make people laugh and has humor, is funny. If you're just there to share, then highlight the moments that are important to you, whether they were the happy moments or the sad moments. Number 3, forget about always making sense. If you're telling a police report, then everything must be chronological. Everything has to be in high detail. But you're not. You're telling a story. And sometimes the details just are not needed. You know, I would hate it when someone starts telling me something, and 5 minutes later they go, so this is probably where the story begins. Like, what were the last 5 minutes for? I found that from some YouTube video somewhere. It does not need to be chronological. If the most exciting thing happened in the very beginning of the story, you're okay putting it at the end. And that way, when you actually tell a story, people will be most interested at the very, very end. Skip unimportant details. If something happened in your story that does not work very well with the rest of it, or is just not important, there's no point of it. For example, if I'm telling the story how I saved a princess, then me taking a pee break along the way will not help the story at all. Number 5. This is more specific if you're trying to entertain. But if you are, tell jokes about yourself. There are many things you do that might embarrass you, but those embarrassments are also kind of funny. And you have to understand, while telling the story, the more genuine and the more you embarrass yourself, the more your audience will connect with you. And that's what you want in a story, so they connect with you and they match the art form. Number 6, leave breaks in. I'll start talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, and I will leave no breaks completely, and I'll start talking really, really fast, and I have no clue what I'm saying whatsoever. It's alright to go ahead, say something, and then leave a break. Let's say you're writing an essay. There are commas, there are periods, semicolons, question marks, exclamation marks, and sometimes you can leave short breaks in, just to think about what you're going to say next, or just make sure everyone's following along. Another good point of it is it gives you space for people to ask questions. If I'm talking, there'll be no time for anyone to ask a question. But what if they're wondering how you actually did something? So, just leave a space. Also, you can have a big space as well, to go and take some water and drink it, for example. And these big spaces help slow the pace down, but also bring suspense. Number 7, tell at least a bit about yourself. Like, when you're telling a story, it's something that you did, something that happened to you. If you include some information about yourself, people get to know you better. And it makes the story more interesting because people can relate to certain things you did. If I'm telling a story about how I saved the princess, and I'm just saying that I took a sword, slashed the dragon, or ran up the stairs and kissed the princess, but it's kind of hard to relate. What if I say that I was sitting there, my sword and my armor? Armor was heavy, I was barely managing to walk. I was panicking. I sliced that dragon up, and wow, a rush of relief came to me. Thank God that dragon did not shoot fireballs at me. You might also remember feeling similar things in a similar situation. Number 8. When you're telling a story, people have a basic guess of what's gonna happen next. If I fought a dragon and I'm running up the stairs, you can already assume that I'm gonna save the princess. What if I say I'm going up the stairs, I'm gonna save the dragon, I didn't mean to kill him? Gosh, now I got you. First off, your opinion of me changed. But second of all, I caught you off guard. But also, they'll think of how they could have done something differently. And it works really, really well. Number 9. Add details that are not specific to the story, or maybe happened before or after. I was running up the stairs, slaughtered the dragon, and then my mind wanders. And I think back to the time, 10 years ago. I was with my trainer, my coach, my sensei. And we were walking, he was training me, teaching me how to fight. And the dragon breaks through the windows and knocks me on the ground. And I lay there, terrified in fear, watching my sensei fight the dragon. And the dragon ate the sensei in half. From that day, I've never feared dragons. I went out of my way to go and hunt them down and kill them. And then I was rushing back up the tower to save the princess. See there? I left a bit of suspense when I switched stories. And maybe that happened 10 years ago, but it still might relate and it might be very interesting. Number 10. Have a good introduction and have a good conclusion. After a lot of research, I figured out that conclusion and introduction are the two most important parts of a story. Introduction where you hook in the audience, and conclusion where you take their breath away. Most people will remember the introduction and the conclusion. You remember packing all your stuff, getting in the car, driving the first bit, and then the center, while you're just driving the road, just whooshes away. But when you arrive, you unpacked your stuff, you met your grandma, you run up to her, hug her. That's what you remember. Number 11. Use details. I don't know why I put the order of these so random. I had not use details, then add extra information, and now it's use details. Pretty much, when you write something good, you want to include at least some moments where you put in a lot of detail of something specific. Usually, it's important in your story. Why? Because it has been very, very broad. I ran up, took my sword, slashed the dragon, and saved the princess. Then I have very little detail and it's kind of hard to believe. But if I talk about how I pulled out my rusty sword from my belt pocket, the metal, slicing on the metal, gave me goosebumps. And there I went, picking up my rusty sword. It has saved me countless times. I swing, and then I go and save the dragon and save the princess. Like that. That makes these more believable and also prolongs the story. It tells people what the story was like. And that might not be the most important detail, but it helps to build up a perspective of what was happening at that time. Number 12. Don't talk out of nervousness. Sometimes I'll be incredibly nervous when I'm presenting, and so I'll just start talking and I see this detail and this detail and this detail, and I pretty much get lost and confused with my own details. Mess me up, ruined my conclusion. And so just make sure, if you're really nervous, go ahead, think about what you're gonna say, and then go ahead and say on point what you meant to say. Don't pay around the bush. You will make a lot more sense when you're talking, be clear, it'll sound a lot more confident, and the story will be more interesting. Number 13. Stories don't have to be long. This is something also that I almost did not believe. But in reality, some stories can be as short as 30 seconds. For example, so I was standing on one stool there was another stool on the floor, trying to clean up the ceiling. And then I go and I look and I see a spider. I was terrified. Maybe it's not normal, maybe I have a spider phobia, but I'm terrified. And I feel the chair under me wobbling under me. And I fell. And thank God that it was a carpet, nothing around me, but I could have broken my head. But after that, I took my Nerf gun out, go boom boom, and that spider's dead. Number 14. This is the rule that I will hate telling you. It's break rules. You know why I hated telling you? Because I literally just told you rules, now you're telling you to break them. And like, when I'm watching a video myself, I'm like, that's the worst advice. I'm looking for some specific guidelines to fix to make good stories, not break rules. But in reality, you should just do what you feel is right at the moment. It's a piece of art. Every time a rule is broken, some new art comes out of that. That's my one, idea that's sort of broad in general. I really don't like broad and general advice, because then people will watch the video and they learn nothing, because they kind of already knew everything from the side, and it just doesn't help. Anyway. Number 15. Think of movies. If you're telling a story, think of a movie, and think, what would they do next? I feel like it's very stereotypical. One of my favorite movies is called Inception by Christopher Nolan. They have one world, and then something's about to happen in that world. What would he do? Which is the second world? And it goes on, and something is about to happen that's terrible in that world. What goes on? Third world. And then when one world fixes, the second into the first. And at the same moment, they all correct themselves and go back to normal. That is filmmaking, and I love it because it has a very good engagement. It keeps me curious, and it gives me an abrupt emotional burst. That was all 15 tips. So now I decided I'm gonna try and tell a story. Something that's not very interesting, to me at least, as of now, but if I tell a story, it could be super interesting. So, this was a year ago in Florida. I was relaxing by the pool with my sister. We were just swimming around. We were planning on going home. We got dried off, had our towels, took whatever clothes we had, and started walking home. You see dark clouds start spawning in above us. Spawning like a video game, like really fast with some strong wind. And I didn't want to get wet again. I just dried off. I'm walking home, and it starts to drip very slowly. It's almost like a video game. They start off with some easy modes, little weak enemies, and slowly they were building up. So there I'm walking, it's barely drizzling, and I start to hurry. I'm trying to go back home faster and faster so I don't get soaked. I don't want our umbrella to get wet, we don't have that many left. I'm running with my sister, and it starts to rain even harder. At this point, I'm ready to run inside a second apartment building just to have a roof over my head to not get soaked. And I'm running, and the road splits up ahead of me. Which way do I go? Do I take the easy way out for shelter, or do I make the run and hope to get home dry? I'm running, closer and closer, and then, boom, I'm risking it all. I might not get wet, I might be dry, but I'll be home early. And so I start sprinting, and the rain starts dripping faster and faster and faster. And I run in, open the door, close it, and lightning and rain. The final boss battle had begun, but I had already won. I had gotten home, and I was dry. The story about rain. It was interesting. Bye-bye.